Are you going to say hello to everybody? No? You going to say hello? Everybody wants to see you. No? Okay. Well, good morning, everyone. Did I ever tell you how hot it is in Florida? I'm melting. Just melting. So, it is Sunday, and I have a few things to share. 6 items, but most of them have multiples. So, to start with, show you where I'm at on my TL Yarn Crafts Hexicardy. I am almost done with sleeve number 1. I have one more round, I think it is, to get it to measure to the required measurement. And I'm on my second thing of yarn, and this is what is left of it. So it's going to take almost 2 balls. They're not really skeins, they're not they're kind of like little balls, to do each sleeve. So it's a good thing I have several of those. Otherwise, I'd be in trouble. Because like I said, I think that may have been on clearance when I bought it. So I don't think I'd be able to get any more if I need more. Hey everyone, this is Editing Robin, remembering that I had something I wanted to bring up that I forgot. So I'm gonna just pop this in somewhere in the video and hopefully not interrupt the flow too badly. During the month of July, I was pleasantly surprised by 4 individuals that used the super thanks icon, which if you don't know what that is, and I never talk about it, I don't ask people to use it or anything like that. It's a little heart under the screen and it's got a little $sign in it. And it's just a way for people to say thank you and support your channel. So I want to give a shout out to these 4 individuals that used that super thanks button. The first person was Jet V 1471. Thank you very much. The second person was Mouse Baby Chickman 9527. Thank you. Dusty Dwyer 8940. Thank you as well. And the last person of the month was Some Kind of Wonderful Montana 1352. Thank you all so very much. It's greatly appreciated, and it goes towards supporting the channel. I just figured out where to find who the people were that did that. So now I know, and if it does ever happen again, I'll be able to thank you right away. So back to the regular video. Last week, I told you I had one item that I had started that I wasn't finished with, and I needed to just do the one arm and sew the arms on. And oh my goodness, I struggled with this. Not because the pattern was hard, but because of the color changes. And somewhere in the body, I got lost. I don't know if I added a row, left out a row, or what exactly it is that I did, but my spots are not where they're supposed to be. So, this is the cow. It's supposed to be the cow from the Mama Made Minis book. The little knotted loveys, snugglers, whatever you want to call them. And it is in Bernat Baby. Like I said, I have a few left. I gave most of it away, but I have a few left. And I'm just trying to use them up. And I think for these little snuggler things that the blanket yarn is better like it'd be easier to wash and have less damage done to it than, say, Parfait Chunky or Sweet Snuggles Light. Although I like the feel of the others better than this kind. But here's my cow. It's supposed to be like 2 spots in the front and then a spot in the back. But mine are just all over the place. So, no safety eyes. And I just followed Marcia from Mimi Makes Keepsakes advice on doing a sleepy eye. So this is my cow snuggler. And if I make another cow again, it's going to be like a solid color. No spots, except for the face. The face was not hard to follow. But the body, no spots. We are just going to stay away from that. Okay, so what have I been doing? Well, a lot of you guys asked me for a tutorial on the embroidered eyes that I was doing. So I sat the other day and made a whole bunch of octopus and saved them to do the tutorial with. Well, I only needed 1, maybe 2, in case I messed up in the first and had to redo it. Well, I made 10 octopus and I left them all eyeless. So I had to sit yesterday and embroider a bunch of eyes. So that took a good part of my day, mainly because I just wasn't motivated, because that's not the funnest part. So I know some people like to, when they're prepping for the markets, do it like an assembly line. Do this part, do this part, do this part. I am not going to do that with the embroidered eyes. When I finish my plushie, I'm going to put the eyes on it because I did not enjoy doing that on 10 octopus. So here's what we have. We have 2 in the light purple. We have 2, I think this is a rose color, which might make a good skin tone if you're doing dolls. I'd have to try one. And I'm not sure what Michaels calls this, but it's kind of like a aqua, turquoise, seafoam, you know, those kind of colors. So I have 2 of those. Then I have 1 in like a light mint green, 1 in a light pink, 1 in yellow, and 1 in this dark teal green. So I did 10 octopus. And again, my focus at the moment is on making plushies with embroidered eyes. Not that it saves money, really, because, you know, the safety eyes really aren't that expensive per pair. Now, when you have to buy them in bulk, they might be, you know, putting out a little bit of money out front, but doesn't really save you that much money. Takes a little more time, but they really do look cute. So then I was sitting there trying to think, what else can I do that are easy, that are small for small hands, and that I could put the embroidered eyes on. I mean, I guess you could put embroidered eyes on anything you want to put embroidered eyes on, but I'm looking for quick, easy, you know, $20 and less type items to put the embroidered eyes on. So I was like, you know what? My little scrap buster turtle pattern, I'm going to mess with that. So I modified it just a little bit. Instead of using my scraps of Parfait Chunky, I used some Sweet Snuggles Light and some Home Slim. I added an extra round to the head and an extra round to the shell. So an additional 36 stitches. And I should have one of the little ones to show you, but I do not have one out, and I really don't want to pick through the totes. But anyways, when you do it normal, they're small. They're like, you can put a $5 price tag on it, and they're small and they're quick to make. So like I said, I modified it. I added one extra round of 12 to the head and one extra round of 24 to the shell. I made a little tail by chaining 3, and when I turned to go back, I did a slip stitch and 1 single crochet and just tied it into the body. Everything else is exactly the same as my little scrap buster pattern, just with those modifications and using the Michael's yarn and a 6mm hook. And for comparison, they are pretty close in size to these octopus, and these are a good size. So, well, here. You can see it next to a soda can and really get perspective there. So my little scrap buster pattern, with just adding those couple of things, makes it a good size little turtle. And I gave it the safety eyes, or not safety eyes, embroidered eyes. I think it turned out cute, and it's quick. These are quick to make, and it's no-sew. Can't beat it. So I did this one, and then I did this one. Now, of course, you know, my colors are so limited on the Sweet Snuggles. Well, everybody's colors are limited, but mine are because I used a lot of it making the little baby princess dolls. So that's 2. And then I decided to do a 3rd one. And I'll probably do a few more. But, you know, you sit there and you make so many of the same thing, you got to change them up. These are super fast. Like, I can do one of these in 20 minutes. So I did the 3 turtles. And then I decided to mess with one of my other patterns. So I pulled out my axolotl pattern. And I made a little modification on this one as well. Now, on this, I was like, I want it to be just a tiny bit bigger than what they usually come out. And I could have achieved that by using the Sweet Snuggles or Home Slim or even Bernat. But I wanted to do it in Parfait Chunky. So instead of doing my normal yarn under, I went with yarn over. And it did come out a little bit bigger, but my stitch isn't as tight. I am just not used to doing that. It's very hard for me to do that. So anyhow, the modification that I did on this, besides changing from my yarn under to yarn over, was to give it the dangle legs instead of the bobble stitch. So wherever my pattern called for bobble, I just did the little leg like you would do with the leggy frog. And everything lined up. I didn't have to adjust anything. And I did it in pink and black, and I love the combination. But I tried to do the embroidered eyes on these as well. Now, I didn't give it the eyelashes, and it's a little bit different of a shape, but I think it turned out pretty cute. And this was like the last thing that I made last night. And then I said, no, I'm done. I'm going to start working on my cardigan. But you see, like, my stitches, they're not as tight with the yarn over because I'm not used to doing that. So I'll have to stick with my yarn under. But I just wanted to test it out and see how it would come out. So I'm not sure if I like these legs or the bobble stitches. This would be Like this would be more natural to a real axolotl. But the bobble stitches, it's just so much easier and quicker. So, what do you think about pink and black? I might do some with the Sweet Snuggles so that I can boost up the size a little and still be able to do yarn under. So one axolotl. And then, breaking rules again, I did buy 2 patterns this week. But you know what? We are into August. And I did pretty good in July for not purchasing patterns. I mean, I did buy some, but not as many as I usually do. So, for August, I am off to a slow start, or a fast start, I should say, on patterns, because I have, today is what, the 11th? And I think I've bought 4 patterns so far this month. That's, gotta slow down. But anyways, this one is just really cute. And I've had my eye on it for a while. And I just said, you know what, I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna buy it, and that's that. This is the only item that I use safety eyes in this time. The others all have the embroidered eyes. But so I did this little beer. I think I might have sewn the handle on just a little too far back, but that's all right. So I have this little beer guy, and I used the Sweet Snuggles for this. And it's a fairly straightforward pattern. The only place that I really kind of struggled, I got confused, was the handle. But once I'm like, slow your roll and take a look at it and read what it says, I was like, oh, okay, I feel like a dummy. But yeah, so we have 1 beer mug. I'll probably make a couple more, no more than 3 total, to see how they do. I mean, October is like a beer month. So I figure beer, and if you did it like with teddy bear or chocolate, it could be a root beer. And then I would use, instead of the white for the foam, probably cream or maybe toffee, you know, for the root beer foam, because that's not like white. So yeah, 1 beer mug. And this pattern is from Little Baby Rory Crafts on Etsy. So there's that. Let me tell you, this Michael's yarn is so messy, and I get covered with fluff from head to toe, and I find it in places where you shouldn't be finding fluff. And I'm not sure what's messier, the fluff from that or glitter. At least with glitter you can sparkle. With the fluff you just get tickled. Anywho, so my absolute favoriteest thing that I did this cycle, and I made 7. One of them's a little small. It was my first one, and I had to change strategy. And it's fine small, but I wanted it a little bigger. So I'm using the Sweet Snuggles Light. Well, let me start from the beginning. Back when I first started watching the crochet channels that had to do with amigurumi and slowly got converted over to the plush yarn, which what got me started with that was John's sister had purchased some Parfait Chunky. She was wanting to arm knit, finger crochet, something like that, a blanket. And when she got the yarn, she purchased it on Hirschner's. When she got the yarn, it was too thin. It wasn't what she thought it was going to be. and she didn't want to pay the shipping to send it back. So she asked me if it was something that I could use. And at the time, I'm like, I don't know, but it's pretty. I'll take it. So I got a good deal from her. I paid $20 for, I can't even remember how many skeins it was now, but it was a couple of shades of gray and some ruby, what have you. So out of that, I made a seal. Sammy the seal, I think it was called. It's way up top. You can't see it. But that was my very first plushie yarn amigurumi toy. Now, I had tried like these gnomes and stuff out of my gnome book and these things, but those, it hurt my hands. But when I did Sammy out of the plush yarn, I was like, oh my gosh, this is just like heaven. I love this stuff. So I started watching channels that had to do with the plush. And there were quite a few. Most of them were younger people. And some of them I still watch, some of them I don't. It gives me a headache watching the fast talkers, and it's not just with crochet, with any of the channels. If they like talk super fast, I can't. It just really gives me a headache. So some of them I rarely watch anymore, but there's one young lady, she's out of Canada, and I watch her all the time. She's not super fast. She doesn't make super long videos, which I think she could make them a little longer and show us a little more. But you know, I crochet every single day. I could be recording every single day, and I don't. But I could be. But it's like, you know, sometimes our level of comfort is not a good level of comfort to be on camera, if you know what I'm saying. So I understand where she's coming from for that. But I really like this girl. I think her name is Kyra. Kyara. Kyra. I'm not sure how you'd pronounce it. But anyways, her channel is Crochet Customs. And I watch her all the time, and she just amazes me. Most of the things that she makes, she just freehands. She doesn't buy patterns or anything. She had this cute little hot dog. And she was showing it in a short. So I asked her, you know, is there a pattern for this? You know, whose pattern is it? And she said she just freehanded it. So I had replied back, if you write a pattern up for this, I for one, would definitely buy it. So I don't know, a few weeks went by and she put up another short announcing that her pattern release, and I went right over to her Etsy and purchased the pattern because I think these things are just the cutest darn things. So, and if you guys do not know her channel, you really should check her out. She's a sweet kid. And let me show you. All right, so this is a hot dog. Look at this. Oh my gosh. They are just adorable. This little dog on a bun with the ketchup and mustard. And I just love them. When I saw them on her channel, I'm like, I want that pattern. That is so cool. Now, the only thing that I did different is she uses a safety nose and safety eyes. I did not. I used yarn and embroidered it. And I tried doing the regular with the little bit of white in the eye, and it looked really weird on it. So I cut that out and just did kind of like a little squinty type eye. But these things are so darn cute. And when she displays them, she puts them in a red basket with like a napkin underneath it, you know, like it's food. But I made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 this size. And this is what I had to do on this for me. And for most of you guys, you already do it. Let me show you the difference. This was my first one. See the size difference? Now both of these are with Michael's Sweet Snuggles. This one is my preferred method of yarn under. This one I did yarn over. And it's, even in thickness, it's hard to see it on camera, but there is a dramatic size difference. I also had to learn to do a different trick with this. And it's not that this is hard, we all know Sweet Snuggles. You go to pull to close that magic ring and snap. Did it to me a million times. So I had to do my magic ring because she wants you to start with 10 stitches, and I just could not pull it closed without snapping my yarn. Usually I do the chain 2 method, but 10 is a bit much to squeeze into the chain 2. So I had to take a piece of acrylic yarn, make a circle, crochet in that, and pull the ends of the acrylic yarn as my magic ring to get it to close. It's real fiddly at first when you're trying to get those first couple of stitches going, but after that it's like piece of cake to do it. And oh, it closes so much nicer. Just tie it up. You don't have to worry about it snapping, the fuzz getting pulled off. It worked great. But I absolutely love this. It is so cute, and what a unique idea. I think they're great. So she has, her pattern is available, and cheap. It's really cheap. It's like $2.47 US. It's I think she's selling herself short on this one. I really do. So everybody, I may have already said this, but I'm gonna say it again. Everybody that asked about the eye tutorial, I posted it yesterday on how I do these eyes. So I'll link it somewhere, maybe. Description, one of these corners, at the end of the video, something like that, so that you can find it. You know, it's so funny. I always think, gosh, I didn't get very much done this week, but then when I see it all sitting here in front of me, I'm like, wow, you were able to get all that done this week? And that's crazy. Let's see. Just assigning everything a $10 retail, not counting the cow. If I was to sell it for $10, I have to think about it. But giving it all the things that I have here, not counting this guy, and probably not counting this guy, that's like $210 in merchandise. This I would probably put maybe 12 to 15 on. Not sure, I'd have to time myself. First one's always the slowest. This is definitely like a 30 to 35. Should be 130 to 135 with all the trouble it gave me doing the body. Anywho, but when you look at it like that, when you think about numbers, that's quite a bit since Wednesday. So it's Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Well, Wednesday night, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And yesterday, I really didn't do much because I embroidered all the eyes. And so I made 3 turtles, the axolotl, and this beer. Wednesday night and into Thursday, I worked on the hot dogs. Thursday night, because Thursday was my birthday, we took a break and went out to dinner. And when I came home, I started making the octopus and finished making a bunch of octopus on Friday. Did finish the cow, made the beard, the axolotl, embroidered the eyes, and a turtle, I believe. I don't know. All my days blend together. But anyhow, I made a little bit. So help me think of what else I can make. That's a small item that I can put the embroidered eyes on that the little kiddos would like. I'm like drawing a blank. Anywho, all right, we are going to say farewell, and maybe we'll see you on Wednesday again. If not, I'll see you in the next video.